Hey, and welcome to Culture Cocktail Hour. That is the name that I think we have kind of came up with and think we're going to stick with on the show here. We think it's pretty fitting. And on
Hmm.
today's episode, we're going to be talking, um, a little inauguration talk, a little new administration, and then kind of compare and contrast as to how everybody is now treating this administration in power versus the one that just walked on out the door. And then after that, gonna touch a little bit more on the social kind of commentary at the moment, kind of surrounding the new administration and some of the stuff that they're trying to put forth. So
Yep.
that's what's going on tonight.
Stick around.
All right, Kurt. So if you're watching at home and you're drinking along, we're taking
I'm
just
gonna
a
use my left hand here.
just a special shot of some special juice. To start
Cheers,
it off
Travis.
tonight.
Here we
Cheers,
go.
Kurt.
To Culture Cocktail Hour.
Culture
The beginning.
Cocktail Hour.
That's good.
It
I
is
think
good.
that's you
That's
really taste
actually
that blue agave in that.
so. That is,
That's good
and for
tequila.
saying this
I
about
don't care
tequila,
what people say.
well,
I
it's
love
good-
that stuff.
and for well, that's what I was just about to get at is oh my god, the less like the less tequila-y, whatever that means, tequila is the better.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, this isn't overpowering.
that is smooth.
And I
That
like-
is
I
some
like,
of, that
you know,
is some of the smoothest tequila
yeah.
I have ever.
And I like a silver blanco or whatever they call it.
Tequila Blanco.
Tequila, yeah. So
I
I've had some good.
oh man, I don't. For me, tequila is just nothing but
Bad memories.
bad ideas. That's what tequila is. Tequila is synonymous
Oh,
with
dude.
bad choices.
Don't get me started. I love tequila. Like I
Oh.
could drink tequila all the time. Yeah.
No thanks.
All right. Anyways.
All right. So, first order of business for tonight is new administration been inaugurated. It is yes, today the 26th,
27th.
27th.
So it's been
So we are a
1 week.
we are a week
One
we are
week
a
in.
week into the Biden presidency. That is good coffee. Not surprisingly, the world hasn't ended as much as everybody was like. It's
No,
the
just a
end
lot of people have lost their jobs.
That's also very true. Yeah, man. First
Let
day
me
on
sign this
first yeah.
executive order.
Here's a piece of paper. First day on the job, 20,000 jobs lost.
Oh, jeez.
No, I will say what I think is funny about that whole situation when you shut down the Keystone Pipeline was, you know, you messed up even if it pertains to fossil fuels when Canada, handsome Bernie of North,
it is.
turns around and goes, dude, I kind of wanted that. Like you were kind of giving me money
Yeah,
for that. I would
absolutely.
like that.
Lots of money.
I think I'm just with Biden himself. I'm not surprised that he canceled that and he cut that out. I mean, the dude literally promised he was going to try and end fossil fuel use, and he
Right.
wasn't signing new leases. That was his whole thing. He was going to try and do that.
And with him, Americans don't come first, anyways.
They do not.
So-
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Americans do not come first with Joe
No.
Biden. No matter how much he tells a populace that is willing to listen to his jargon,
You're right.
that he's been spewing for the last 50 years, mind you, and
Yeah.
the dude has not stayed solid on a point for those entire 50 years.
Even
Like,
one. I don't know if it's even 1 point.
dude, the dude blows
He's
with the wind.
flip-flopped.
He
Yeah,
blows with the wind. And I get it. A lot of middle of the road, kind of center of the aisle Democrats try to do that so they can mismatch with both sides, and that's what
Mhm.
Joe Biden has always kind of promoted himself as. My whole problem was with this whole return to normalcy idea that we were being proposed with this new administration. I how good was the Obama Biden presidency
It
to
was terrible.
It's to some people.
Yeah.
Because to me, return to normalcy under a Biden administration means pallets of my tax dollars going to an Iranian regime that wants to destroy me and wants to use that money to build nuclear power. And then also it means drone striking Doctors Without Borders hospitals
you've talked
in
about this a
Syria. It's just it's very weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It just seemed what it actually was for the American people, the presidency with Donald Trump it's pure chaos. It's always chaos.
I think that's what he wants.
And maybe
to an extent.
To an extent. I would say he kind of wants to keep even his journalistic adversaries just kind of on their toes. He wants to just kind of mess with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the man was on The Apprentice. Like
right.
he likes the show. That's why his rallies were comedy shows and his press briefings were just comedy shows. He likes the limelight and he likes the attention. But because of that attention, it was nothing but bad press and just throwing, you know, he was a mud monster, but mud monsters still don't look good. Just because you can throw stuff at him and it may not stick doesn't mean that he's not a hideous mud monster. Right. And that's what Donald Trump was. And, you know, he couldn't do right. The man could never pass a good piece of legislation. Everything he said, there was something that we could nitpick.
No, he did.
Yeah.
But people didn't think that he did.
Did I
No, you're going from the viewpoint of
yes,
people.
Yes. Is that he couldn't,
no matter what he did,
he couldn't have possibly done anything good because he was just Donald
Orange
Trump.
Man
He was
bad.
Orange Hitler, you know. And I think that is furthest from the case. I think there are things that you can give him credit for, and good things that he did for the American people. But I
had more money in my pocket. I mean, that's all I really care about at the end of the day, you know. I mean, well,
I can't remember the exact statistic. Oh man, it's slipping my mind at the moment. It's a line Senator Ted Cruz uses all the time.
Yeah, Ted.
Texas Ted. He I think it I don't know. It was over a million plus people during the first few years of the Trump presidency coming off of food stamps.
Yeah,
Off of food
that's
stamps.
fantastic.
They were gaining independence. They had a job. They were going out after that job, buying groceries and bringing it home to set on their table for their kids. And that made a lot of people feel good because they were independent and they weren't suckling on the government teat, because that is better for you to go out and make something for yourself and to get something. No matter
what they tell you, it is better for you.
It is. It is better. And even if you don't believe in souls and whatever, it is better for you as a person to go out and work for your living and earn what you make, because it builds you up, builds character, and, you know, it builds up independence within you. Absolutely. And shows that you can do things for yourself. But no, because of that, it was, you know, Donald Trump kind of helped purport that as a domestic policy. He kind of wanted, you know, he was a very America First guy. Make America great again. That was his whole thing. You know, regardless if you agreed with it or not, that was his whole thing. He wanted America first, and he tried to do that with policy as best as he could. But how it was viewed in social circles and in the journalistic establishment, it was, this dude is just, you know, just ripping the foundation out from under democracy. He's doing everything bad. He's a dictator. He's terrible. He's all of this. And I don't like that talk, right or left, when you talk about the president, because more often than not, a president in the United States is going to be a democratically elected president. So I'm over this fear-mongering, fascistic dictator talk. But now with Joe Biden, it's no matter what is being done, it's great. It's normalcy. It's all normal again. There's no chaos. Nothing could possibly go wrong. I mean, don't mind the 20,000 jobs on day one being just completely scrapped.
Media crickets.
Media crickets. And
seriously, and even the way that they ask him questions and spoon feed him, the media would literally yell at Donald Trump.
They would yell at, well, look,
and even Kayleigh McEnany.
I was just about to. That's what I was just about to say.
Don't even get me started on comparison to the new.
I was just about to say. Look at the comparison between former administration's press secretary versus current press secretary. Hey, I'll answer that question, guys. Let me just circle back around to you.
Let me circle back around.
That is speaker jargon for I don't know the answer to the question. I'm going to use my time while I go around to the rest of the room to BS something in my head and deliver it back to you.
No, and she never did. She never does though. She's terrible.
It's Jen Psaki. She did the same thing during the Obama administration. It was she was the same. It was the same exact job. She was not good. She was not good because she lied more often than not because big government politicians have to lie because their systems of government are terrible because government is not supposed to be big. That's
exactly
another
right. Government. That's a whole
another argument in itself.
That'll be another podcast.
But going back to what I was talking about, this Trumpism versus return to normalcy. Just exactly that. It's going to be for the next 4 years. Get ready for her Obama era gaslighting, where it's this. He didn't do that. He didn't do it at all. He never said that. As a matter of fact, he actually thinks completely the opposite, even if he doesn't. They're just gonna they will massage him. They will cheerleader for him. They've already thrown they've already thrown on the cheerleader outfits for Joe Biden. And just don't be surprised when that already ticks off more Americans than it already has.
Yeah.
That's there's a reason a bunch of people thought the last election was stolen or rigged. I don't think it was actually rigged or stolen. I think Ben Shapiro has a good point where that establishment media was worth a good 10 to 15 points in this election cycle, which just due to the amount of vile animus and disinformation as well as information they threw out against Donald Trump or any adversary to Joe Biden. And you wonder how you got a situation like what happened on January 6th, which was terrible and sucked. And it was because a bunch of people feel as if they are completely sitting in the heart of the country, underrepresented and misheard, period. I get for you, Kurt, what do you like? Do you think that's just going to be a more prevalent thing over these next 4 years? Is it going to be, I mean, it was incredibly apparent during all of the Trump presidency that it was journalistic bettors are out to just smear Donald Trump because he's easily able to smear.
Right.
So is it going to be just, is it kid gloves Joe Biden, or is it actually journalistic?
There'll be no journalistic. It's going to be, like you said, they're going to basically coddle his balls.
No, you're not wrong. Like they're gonna break out the sandalwood.
Yeah.
They're gonna break out the fine oils, and they're gonna burn some incense. And they're gonna say, "Just lay down, Joe."
I think it's exactly right. And
just lay down. We'll take care of it. We'll lie. We'll shape the truth for you.
Right.
We'll throw out talking points, and we'll label any opposition as some sort of ist. That way, they are immediately discredited and have no no say in the form of public debate.
It doesn't matter what Joe Biden does. They're going to agree with him. It can be the worst thing in the world. We could go to war with every single country in the world and good job, Joe Biden.
No, you're not wrong. And I think that's something
scary.
Well, it is very scary. Well, I was when I was at work today, I got a Wall Street Journal notification talking about Biden canceling arm deals to Saudi Arabia and UAE. That was something like Trump had done shortly before the end of his presidency.
Yep, I remember.
They put a hold on that. The Biden presidency put a hold on that while I think the article said was while looking through the Trump administration's like finances or spending or something. They caught that and they canceled that because they don't want that happening. But literally going back to what I was saying before, it's fine to ship the Iranian mullahs billions of dollars in cash, or like granted this wasn't Biden, but under the presidency he was vice president for, or just unsanctioned war in Libya. Just doing things on a whim in the executive branch is not what the executive branch is supposed to do, and that's not what the government is supposed to do. And if you've looked at Joe Biden's first week in office, if you hold that contention in mind, that should kind of scare you because the dude signed double-digit executive orders within his first 72 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That is well above his predecessors. Mm-hmm. The president he served as vice president under only had, I think, three to maybe 5 in his first 3 days in office. Joe Biden,
it's well above that.
Yeah. that's ridiculous to me, and I think that should scare some people, because the executive office and the executive branch is not supposed to just sign things with, this was an Obama line, just sign things, with the wave of a, change policy with the wave of a pen on a piece of paper. That's not what Obama said that he couldn't do that, but then immediately signed DACA into law, and just made and rewrote immigration law as an executive order. And I think that scares a lot of constitutional Americans, because they see that is something that the executive branch is not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Period.
They should never be.
I vote for the president to be the face of my country. I vote for my legislature to write my laws for me.
Right.
I don't need the
Which
I don't need the president with a pen and pad just signing things into law.
That should not be how it is at all. Like you said, the House and Senate should decide on.
This is why we have checks and balances and a triumvirate.
Unfortunately, there's no checks or balances
there's not, because it's all three branches of government are controlled by the same party. And if you're a progressive liberal, you're jumping for joy right now. For now, you're jumping for joy. You're ecstatic, whatever. A lot of just, I would say, centrist Americans, middle of the road Americans are gonna be kind of shocked, taken by surprise. They're going to notice that a lot of their money is being, a lot more of their money is being taxed. A lot more of their money is being sent overseas. They're going to notice a lot of people losing their jobs. They're going to notice
the downturn in the stock market.
Well, and you're already seeing that. You're already seeing, people who have money invested and money saved up, worrying about the teeter-tottering and the complete uncertainty of markets right now, because there's a shifting of policy idea and shifting of just government ideals in general going on. It's a very scary time. I also think it's not that scary. It's scary.
It's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is something we talk about. If
there's anything that's true, is markets will go up and down a little bit, but never once has a presidency discerned what the market has done. It's a fact.
It's always an outside factor. Right? It's an outside factor.
Right, exactly. So not president changes and things like that have no play. It's crazy because people freak out. I got to get my money out. I got to do this, and that's what causes the market. That's what always causes weird
this complete instability. Yeah. Well, instability rather. Well, that's exactly right. A shift in administration, especially in the American stock market, is always this. Shifting of powers is just going to throw a wrench into the market in general, because companies are trying, and market people are trying to fix that in with, especially if you have anything to do with international trade. They're trying to take that into account and sending money overseas. And am I going to be sanctioned now because I'm working in a certain industry? It's things like that. So it's just complete volatility during a switch. You're going to see it begin to just kind of flatten out and stable out again. I will say, I don't think you're going to see this incredible Trump era of, this 4 years of kind of constant expansion in the stock market.
No, it'll be very slow.
It'll be very slow. It'll be if there is to be a crash and then recovery, it'll be an Obama era recovery. Just this very slow, drawn out, just slowly sloping line.
Or it'll stay,
that's also true.
Flat line.
I think
it is very possible. I mean, over the next 4 years, I think you could see, like, I know you said it could be the slow, gradual in recovery, but I honestly don't think so, man. I think it's going to be a flat line. Yeah, pretty much until maybe the last year in his presidency. And if he gets reelected, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll move out of this country. See, I know everybody says that about Donald Trump,
but no, with something like that, that's.
I'm just kidding.
You are kidding,
place
but
I'd rather be than America.
That's my whole Daisy will say something like that. Daisy will be like, I don't know, man. We're gonna have to get out of here soon. We're gonna have to.
No, we're not.
We're gonna have to move somewhere.
Calm down.
We're gonna have to move to Japan, and that's what I usually say is like,
there's over 300 million guns.
Well, it's that, and then it's also like I think people are, especially in this country, completely historically ignorant, and they just choose to not acknowledge the fact that this country almost tore itself root and nail apart on something completely more polarizing than this, and then at a time it being polarizing because there was just not as many informed people on
Yeah.
what was going on. I think the country can come back from a petty squabble like this.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just going, you're just going to see a lot of anger, kind of just like because you're already seeing this, this sort of rally around the flag idea.
Around the family.
Yeah,
Like a push shells.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
That was perfect. No, don't even apologize. That was perfect. You're gonna see this, yeah, and you already kind of are this rallying around.
I know how much you love them.
My favorite band. This rallying around Donald Trump, especially within the kind of the more non-establishment GOP. So like just blue collar working American GOPs, people that are just fans of the Republican Party. You're kind of seeing this sycophantic circle around Donald Trump. And you were seeing it during his presidency, but especially now, because a bunch of people feel as if they were jobbed out of another 4 years of Trump, which they wanted. And so they're just, they're rallying around the office of the former president.
Oh, my goodness.
They're really, but they are invested in that. His sycophants are, and his supporters are invested in that. I think a lot of Americans look at Trump and see, okay, maybe the GOP or just the mainstream Republican Party isn't dead. And it's something I kind of agree with at times because it stands up for my ability to be independent and left alone from a big government and, to be entirely control of myself and my family and the people that I care about, not in control, but have a say in what happens in my life. And then I leave everybody else out of it and I don't affect theirs. That's a Republican mentality. Yeah. It's a independent, build yourself up mentality.
So we still need that for sure.
You
and
do,
I'm glad we have.
And I think that's just a lot. I think that's just an American mentality. Yeah. I think Americans know that this is a life of hardship and suffering, but because of that, I go out and I work and I fight tooth and nail to get my job done, to get my paycheck, to get whatever. And I pay for myself. I pay for my way of living. I do what I want to do.
It's not just Americans. Why do you think so many immigrants come here to try and become an American? I guess, yeah.
I'll say because
they understand.
I'll say because the American way of life is this.
They can see it for what it is.
And what it is independence and, being completely left alone from a government that wants to encroach on your individual liberties and your rights.
Yeah.
And with a big government, you don't get that. And that's where that is where a lot of the political left lies, is in a bigger government solution. And that scares me because I don't think, and it's what I say to you all the time, because the government is just a big bag of money and a gun. And that big bag of money and a gun just gets sent wherever you want to send it, and it gets pointed at wherever you want to point it. And if Republicans have complete control of government, why do you want all the Republicans to have complete control of the money and the gun? Yeah. Why would you want that? And if you're a Republican, why would you want all the Democrats to have complete control of the money and the gun? You don't. That's why there is a unification in our country around the idea of okay, maybe I don't agree with that, but at least let's talk it down to maybe we can figure something out with that. But when you and this goes for right and left, when you label your political opposition as, I don't even want to associate with them, I don't want to do anything with them, you don't have a country anymore. You can't have a country anymore if it's like that.
That's why I don't like the two-party system, honestly.
I've always been.
I understand I understand the reason why there is
the precedent and how it's
the
been.
Two parties are supposed to work together,
everybody seems to forget that there was like a Whig party at one point in this country. There were a lot of political parties in this country.
There were,
and you don't need just Republican or Democrat. You don't. I understand that this country, especially as of right now, is going to be a two-party system. I think because people, I can't speak for myself because I don't think this way, but I feel as if people think they need to belong to some sort of ideological group, or they just need to associate with people that think very similarly to them. And because now they have that group of people that think similarly to them, they don't need to go out and hear opposing views or hear views that differ from theirs.
You're exactly right.
Because I just have the people that agree with me and surround me, and I don't have to worry. And so when you do hear somebody that opposes you, and because you're surrounded by a bunch of people that only agree with you, it does become taboo.
Yeah.
And it becomes, oh, this is terrible stuff.
Yeah.
I can't believe we live in a country where people can say that. When in actuality, it's just, you guys, once again, probably agree at the fact that, oh, I think differently than you do, but that doesn't mean we hate each other. So how about we just leave one another alone and maybe go to a different state where we have like different tax laws or like different, zoning laws or something. Why can't we just do that? And that's the American equation. That's the American test, is the, how it's, it's the Ben Franklin line. It's either we all hang together or we hang separately. We have to band together and rally around the idea that we share common values, and we very much understand one another, and we both want to be, we both want to leave one another to their devices. We want to let other people be in control of their own life. And I think people on the center right see that and understand that more than people do on just especially the progressive radical left, but even more just seems like it's becoming part of the mainstream left, that it's now like government has to solve everything for us. And that's something I don't agree with. And especially now with Joe Biden in office, being a big government guy, I wouldn't be surprised if you kind of start to see a crackdown or semi-similar surveillance state on these, on opposing viewpoints, on people. You're already seeing it. Like Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, and he was working in the Trump administration. He got banned off Twitter. And
of course,
everybody that's not Jack Dorsey gets banned off Twitter, but that's for sharing his view.
But they allow child pornography.
They do allow CP, or they Qasem Soleimani, he had a Twitter account, or the Ayatollah Khamenei, the the dictator of Iran, he has a Twitter account. But the second Trump gets out of office, he can't have a Twitter account anymore. So you already are, and you were even during his presidency, seeing this kind of crackdown on conservative thought or just right of center thought. And that's going to piss him off. I don't understand why that is the left's answer. To me, and it's something I've said to you before, is that to me, as much as it's going to anger people, with free speech, people are allowed to use that free speech to espouse hate, things they don't like. If they are not openly calling for the destruction and or killing of somebody or something, you can do that. Welcome. This is America. People are going to say things you don't like. The combat to hate speech and incorrect speech is not censorship.
No, it's not.
Then it just goes underground. It just starts in a little bubble, and then it balloons out even more. The solution to hate speech is correct speech. It's better speech. It's correcting their incorrect thought processes. And if they can't get on board, if they can't come to terms with that, that's on them. We've thought this out. We've figured it out. You have a quote unquote backwards way of thinking or misaligned way of thinking. But just because somebody is a Republican or center right doesn't mean they should have their ideology stripped from view entirely.
I don't care who they are or what they believe, honestly. Like you said, if you aren't openly out calling for destruction and killing, and then you have the right to say whatever you want to say.
And that's I get why people may have a problem with that. I don't, but once again, because my argument is just tell them why they're wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because with something like racism, especially, that's what really irks me about the whole hate speech and racism thing. Yeah, racism's wrong.
No one ever said that it wasn't.
Who are you trying to win over?
Yeah.
It's the the idea that I use with it's albino skateboarders. It's three actual dudes that are like vile, just hatred-filled racist. It's statistically not that many people. But then if you say that they can't have a place, if they can't say what they have to say, they can't say it, period. So they can't go out in public and say it, or they can't even go online and say it, they're still going to go online and say it.
Yeah.
It just, like I said before, it just goes underground, and then it just creates a bigger echo chamber than there already is for polarized tribal politics. So I don't agree with the whole censorship thing.
Let me ask you something, Travis. Do you think that the world would be a better place without social media?
Do I think the world would be a better place? Ooh, it is a great question.
Do you remember what the world was like? I mean, how old are you? You're pretty young, so
I do, in a sense of my parents. I mean, the first social media platform I remember using my parents. No,
you're too young for that.
My parents using was Facebook. I never saw them use MySpace. I never saw them use any form of social media. And I didn't even learn about MySpace until probably after Facebook had come about. Honestly,
MySpace was so cool.
Well, no, it's
so being a musician, you know.
Well, and
it was like
that's what I heard.
I had my music that I could play. I could customize my page and like.
It was so oddly enough. I think if I was around the time,
there was no politics. Like
that's another because it wasn't a cultural thing.
No, and it wasn't
because nobody knew about it. It wasn't a thing to talk
cared.
about. It was a Bush Obama era thing where it was the people that knew about politics knew about it, and then they were kind of ostracized from every other forum because nobody wanted to.
I just remember in MySpace it was fucking full of, excuse my language, full of emo chicks.
Yep.
And like the swooped hair. I mean, I was one of those guys with the black dyed hair. Scene, yeah. And you had your music, and you could. Oh man, it was so cool. I loved it so much.
So that dates it in a way that's like perfectly recognizable.
You could write code to like make your own page.
Yeah, because
HTML or whatever.
Yeah, it's HTML. That's code. Yeah. Oh my god, HTML. But because that's, it was. It was right before.
I digress.
It was right before my social media. I guess to answer your question, would the world be better without social media?
Let's say the new age social media. So I'm talking things like like TikTok and Twitter and
unpopular
Snapchat.
Opinion: uninstall TikTok from your phone right now. It's owned by the Chinese Communist Party and it is collecting your data. I'm sorry, that's the truth. I know people. Whenever you say that outside, they're like, "Shut up, dude! I'm just trying to laugh."
No,
I'm sorry.
I don't care.
I view it that way, and I don't want that. I don't want them to have. I don't want the Chinese to have my data.
Yeah.
So that's how I view it. With social media, I think it's a good interpersonal medium. I think it's a good. I think it, as far as like,
I think it's ruined relationships. I think it's ruined human interaction. I honestly do.
Well, as far as like human interaction has gone, yeah, but you could even see that shift from the kind of the because it's how people treat the internet now. It's like your living room. You can't say bad things on there. You can't even You can't make people mad because then somebody would be mad or something. I don't know the argument, but I grew up.
I don't give a damn, really. Like
that's the answer, and I have that mentality in the sense of, and this is something you and I have talked about before at work. Playing online video games, like hanging out in a Call of Duty lobby.
Yeah.
I got called every name under the sun.
I used to call people.
Yes, I got called people every name under the sun. And I also had the voice of a flute when I was, playing on Xbox or PlayStation at that time. But people didn't care.
No,
people just said whatever they wanted to say.
You would laugh at it
because nothing was going to happen to you. It's the internet. Nothing is going to happen. They don't even know who I am. They don't even know where I live.
I mean, some of them are.
Some now.
They send a SWAT to you.
They'll SWAT you.
You're going to get swatted.
You will get swatted. You make somebody mad enough, they'll SWAT you. That's real.
Yeah.
But what you have seen happen on social media platforms and just the internet in general is that you can't fathom hurting somebody's feelings anymore because they will just blast you out on any social media and say, look at how hateful this person is. Look at how terrible they're treating me. And it's like, dude, it's the internet.
You can't have a differing opinion. Otherwise, they'll blast you. Can you believe? They'll screenshot it.
Can you believe this sexist, racist, bigoted homophobe?
Oh my God.
Can you believe this
Trump
communist?
Lover? Yeah.
Like it's things like it because we just throw labels onto people and hope they stick. That's exactly what it's just become. It's just a mudslinging on the internet, and who can get the most interactions on their garbage.
And what's sad about all of that is everybody does it for attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
social
honestly
media.
Don't care if I blasted you or if I said something
all
that
social
offended
media
you.
is for.
You want attention from other people. whether it be putting someone on blast or not.
Social,
That's all you care for. Yeah, you're looking for that. Just that.
Your it's instant gratification. It's instant gratification.
Build me up, please, because I have such low self-esteem.
It's an instant
that
number.
I can't even. Yeah.
It's it has done. One of our coworkers sent me a link to I think it was Sam Harris, one of his podcasts. In his podcast, yeah. Take that. I listen to people on the political left. What are you going to do about it?
No, I mean, you should.
Yeah, exactly. But the episode that he sent me was talking about social media platforms, and then also just how people engage on social media. And the term, well, the phrase that he used was, it seems that people with the American people with social media, or just people in general, we have signed up for an experiment that we did not sign off on actually being a part of. And especially when you see the changes that all these social media platforms has gone to, the fact that Instagram doesn't show like the amount of like numbered likes you have now.
Yeah.
Things like that. And I think that's a step in the right direction as far as how other people view you,
right,
but you still see your number. Yeah. So it's kind of still the instant gratification thing.
Oh, you still see your number? Like the person, but nobody else can
see how many people have liked your stuff. They can maybe go into the likes, and if they wanted to scroll for hours and hours, see how many to a T have liked.
Well, I think Instagram's stupid anyways, but anyway, go ahead.
Instagram is only for photographers and artists.
Well, I mean, I'm a videographer, and you would think that I would use that as a way to grow my business.
I would say you probably use Facebook more.
Yeah. I mean, we use
actually, but then also just for putting full length video.
Yeah, so we use Facebook and YouTube. Like, well, that's it. We have our own website, but we usually do all of our we haven't done any advertising, but all of the work that we get comes from Facebook, but we send them to our website. So, yeah, but Instagram's a weird one. I have a problem. I have problems like even just getting on there and like scrolling.
No,
I just don't understand.
That's
social media to me is just this. Like
no,
you don't,
so that's
you're bored.
No,
and it's like,
no, you're 100%.
So find something to do with your time that makes you grow and helps you. You know,
that's a good point. Yeah. I wish I could do that, because I will catch myself just doing this, just deadpan stares.
But the thing with you though is you're constantly learning and reading. So that you do things that most other people. I have a hard time reading books. So like you do things that I don't do that help you. I just like to learn about being an entrepreneur and things like that.
You're bettering yourself. You're creating a lifestyle.
Here, Travis, you need one more of these.
Is that so?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Cheers.
Ooh.
It'll warm you right up right there. You can put hair on your chest.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
It's from Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco. Yeah.
Yeah, that put hair on my chest, all right.
Anyways, we digress. I was just curious because I know.
No, but
you with Twitter and
no, I think I think we can continue talking on that. I guess to answer your question, I do agree that it is completely destroyed interpersonal relationships.
Like I almost miss like being able to just go call up my friend or even just,
you definitely don't see that anymore.
No, just be like, hey man, what are you doing? You want to come over? Like it doesn't happen anymore.
Now it's texting.
Yeah, it's texting.
Now if my friends do it, they just text me.
And now I don't have really many friends, at all, and it's sad. Like I mean, granted, my fiance is my best friend, so
that's how it works.
Time with
that's
her.
how it works.
But I used to have some guy friends that we would hang out and go do stuff, and now it seems like none of that happens.
People also just go their own way.
I know we get a little older and we grow up and we have families and blah blah blah. But I still don't think that. Why should things change? Like that. Why can't you have families but still be like dudes?
No, I 100% agree. My friends group.
10-minute warning.
Oh, my friends group deals with that same kind of thing as well. I will not name drop. There's a few.
Put some people on blast right now. Who needs Facebook?
No, there's a few people within Daisy and I's friends group who, especially when we first started dating, they had a huge problem with her. But then also,
were they racist?
No, it has. That's a joke. But then also to actually answer a question, no, it was not. It was more of my friends being childish kind of thing, from
Yeah.
my personal opinion.
They're not going to see this, are they?
They probably will, but in all honesty, they'll probably agree.
All right.
And I
All right,
mean,
man.
I'll tell them
Yeah.
how it is. Well, and I guess going back to what you were saying about, having friends, and I can still be your friend just because I don't hang out with you every other weekend doesn't mean I'm not your friend.
Right.
That was going to be my connection to that.
I got you. Okay.
Is that I have friends who are very well, every now and then pop their head up and be, hey, I feel like we, like they're my younger brother or something. I feel like we just don't hang out anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't play Xbox with me. I feel like you don't play Xbox with me enough anymore, and I feel like we're just not in the parties together anymore. And to me, it's, and for also them, it works for them too. It's like, dude, I work a job.
Yeah.
I
have a
come
woman.
home. I do have a woman.
Yeah.
I have bills that I pay.
Yeah.
I live on my own. And I don't always want to just go out. I don't always want to just go out.
I'm tired, man. Yeah.
I'll get on the Xbox. I'll
Yeah.
play with you. I'll
Yeah.
chat with you. That's easy. I can do
while
that.
I'm lounging in my underwear on my
Exactly.
couch.
But I do not want to go out.
Yeah.
And that always kind of seems to be this vicious circle that when I say that, it sounds like I have just the most deplorable group of friends. But no, I love all my friends, but every now and then it's kind of this circular history is cyclical. It's just a very cyclical thing that occurs within our friends group that every 2 to 3 months, 1 to 2 individuals will be like, hey, I feel like we're not doing enough stuff anymore and we're not hanging out. And I usually don't say anything, but part of me is just going, dude, we're fine.
Yeah.
It's just, and because I think it is part of what we're getting to with the social media thing. It's just people feeling as if they need to have an instantaneous reaction or an instantaneous connection with their friends, as opposed to having friends and then I have those people that I can go to and that I can talk to and that I can hang out.
Right.
That's how I view friends.
Right.
I very much do, and I think people need to be left alone. You can hang out on your own.
Yep.
People don't need to know every facet of your life,
Oh,
which is why I do think
Can't agree with that more.
social media is kind of a
Terrible.
cancer
Everybody
for
posts
that.
what they're eating for breakfast. It's like, I don't care what you're
It's
eating
things
for
like
breakfast.
that because I have,
You know what?
I had a
My
running
daughter had her first period. Like, why does anybody need to know
Woo! First menstrual.
Like, what are we
No, you're not wrong. People will just post arbitrary, unnecessary garbage onto their timelines, and I don't understand it because I don't care. I don't care because I also know people don't care that much about me,
No.
so I wouldn't blast that much
No,
information
don't care.
about myself. Because I had a running joke for the longest time with Daisy that I just had a once a year Instagram post. For the last 3 to 4
Yeah.
posts I had on my Instagram were all spaced out to not an exact year, but borderline
pretty
just a
close, yeah.
year apart. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run with that for
Yeah.
a while. I'm just gonna have it like that. And then she got onto my phone and posted something on my Instagram for me. But
You see, Madeline does that with our business one because I don't ever post on there, like ever. I think the last thing I posted was well over a year ago, and she gets on there now and like puts little stories and like that. Like when we're shooting a wedding, she's always puts a little like what I mean, like a story of how the day is going. Like,
okay,
it's wedding day. And
sexist alert, sexist alert.
Uh-oh.
This is
I know it's women.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it
this is a
But bless them,
female
I
thing.
love it,
absolutely,
yeah.
can't live with them, can't live
Oh,
without them.
yeah.
It's a women are great. Don't take
they
any.
are.
When I joke about men or women, don't take anything I say as complete face value because I don't even take anything.
And
I
I
say.
love her to death, and I know she does that stuff, and she's doing it to try and better the business.
Well,
I get it.
there's
But
a difference.
me,
between-
I'm not going to take the
Well,
time to do that.
Yeah, there's a
stuff.
difference between somebody posting that on like a business page
Yeah.
and trying to drum up business, and,
Or you have those
information and
narcissists that constantly post like 10 pictures a day of their butts. You know what I mean?
And,
narcissism is real.
Well,
And
narcissism
have you ever
is plenty.
Have you ever seen YouTube videos, narcissism in the pandemic?
I'm sure
Have
it's
you?
great,
Oh
though.
my goodness, there's so many videos of these people that just bust these narcissists out there taking photos of themselves in weird, awkward positions, in weird places.
Because it sounds like as far as like in the pandemic, that's even funnier because they're probably the only people outside trying to get a photo.
Oh,
but they're
during the Black Lives Matter riots.
Oh, of
and
course.
Like just
well,
like
yeah, because
so they're acting like they're trying
there's
to.
a There's a whole subsection of Instagram that's just called influencers in the wild.
Yeah.
And it's just
Exactly.
it's just photos and videos of people who are Instagram influencers taking photos, posing for photos and videos somewhere, and then just dashing off.
Yep.
And because that's a lifestyle choice for them, and they want to get their ad revenue, and they want to have
Slap
their
'em in the
the
face
money,
is what I wanna
but
do.
that's not a lifestyle. To
Are
me.
they going to do that till they're 70 or 65 years old? No.
That's
Sorry.
my question.
Your
I don't
body's
know.
going to fade, bitch.
Maybe,
Excuse my
maybe
language.
no, you're not. No, don't even excuse your
Yeah,
language.
yeah.
You're correct.
It's maybe
No.
the tequila that's talking a little
That's like I don't know. Maybe it's because I have a once it sexist alert. Maybe it's because I have a man brain, and I go, do people actually care? Are people going to continue to continue to look at this? Is this something that I can keep up even
Right.
like consistently? Especially with something like that, like an internet presence.
I don't know, man.
Hell no.
This day and age anymore, it's crazy. You got a thing called OnlyFans and like,
Oh yeah,
like,
I
you
know what I know what the
yeah,
YouTube about OnlyFans.
but it's like these things exist and people just throw money at people. And it's like,
I think
what are we
I think
doing
something
here?
like OnlyFans is a signal of cultural degradation.
yeah, absolutely.
This is gonna piss people off.
Yeah.
OnlyFans is not a job, male or female. You selling images of your body or images or videos of you
Mhm.
engaged in sexual acts. It's just pornography.
It is pornography.
It's just
they know it's pornography.
They
though,
do
you
know it's pornography.
They don't give a crap.
And that's fine. If you're fine with doing that, that's great. Don't turn around and then use it as some like pedestal to promote body positivity and quote unquote sex work. Because that makes no sense to me. And I think it is more in the long run degrading to women than it actually is beneficial to them. What, you're proud of you think she looks sexy?
Cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's very fleeting. She's really proud that she looked sexy for the one moment, and then you didn't care
No.
because, to use my vulgarity, you busted a nut and moved
Yeah,
on. Like
exactly,
you did.
yeah.
Like and nobody after that point you didn't care.
Yep.
But hey, you still got the $5 coming out of your
Amen.
account every month because
Yep.
somebody wanted to do that. To each their own, but don't turn around and then say it's some
No.
move forward for the
right.
culture to say
Yeah.
that I could post naked photos of myself and have people pay for them. Because it's just pornography.
It is.
It's just pornography.
Yeah, you're taking advantage of. I honestly think they're taking advantage of people that are, desperate or alone, or and maybe have.
I could agree with that.
an
I can
addi-
agree
an
with.
addiction and.
Well, I think porn is just bad in general.
No, I agree.
I'm a
Like you can go get the real thing. Why do you have to? I don't understand it.
Well, the argument that I've heard and something that I also kind of agree with is that you are biologically predisposed to, if you were in a situation
To liking chicken.
like chicken. No, if you were biologically predisposed to,
How'd you know that, man?
how'd you know? How did you
I
know?
was gonna get some chicken.
No, I was gonna get some chicken. Come on, buddy.
Anyways.
But you, as a male, you are biologically predisposed to finding a woman attractive and liking them. And then it also, because of that, when you get to a point where you are either in a room naked with a woman or you've gotten to the point where you are now there, that is a accomplishment. And biologically you go, yes, I did it.
I did it.
Figured
Yeah.
it out. I
Yeah.
finally did it. And that's a good thing. You going, I want to look at pretty woman.
Yeah. Let me get it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Like that's not
You had good form. You had good
Yeah,
technique.
got good technique. You ever think about competing?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We
No.
got to wrap this up. We
All
gotta
right,
swing
but
this back
I get,
around.
no,
Sorry.
that,
we
no,
went
don't
off on a
worry.
whole.
No, but I think that's so commenting really quick on the Trump
Yes,
Biden thing.
let's do that.
Because Trump's now gone. Don't be surprised if in 4 years he's the greatest Republican president that's ever lived, and why can't we have him back? You saw it with George W. Bush. You saw it with McCain. You're probably going to see it with Romney. So in 4 years, Trump's going to be, oh man, I wish we had that guy back. But then within the next 4 years, don't be surprised when not a single scandal gets covered within the Biden administration. And then because of that, don't be surprised when the slow decline of American unity and culture continues and persists.
Yep.
Because the country was on a razor's edge under Trump. It's an even finer razor now.
It's pretty bad.
Now with this Biden administration. I still have hope going back to when we were at the turn of the new year. I still have hope that this country is going to figure things out and get itself on the straight and narrow.
I do
again.
too. And remember when I said I didn't have as much hope as what you did. I wasn't as optimistic as you. I'm optimistic.
I'm optimistic now.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a little while. But...
It will take a little while. A big part for me was just seeing the inauguration go smoothly once after everybody told us that there was going to be a bunch of crazy Trumpers at it, like threatening to kill stuff. Yeah. But like that but that's also the idea as well. Strip the fear mongering.
Yeah.
Quit trying to make me completely afraid of the other side. Because I'm not. I'm not afraid.
Nope.
I'm not afraid of most things. I'm not afraid of most things, especially when it comes to like political decisions and the way things are done in this country. So all in all, just learn to accept your fellow American as your fellow American. Don't care about, you can care about what they think, but realize it doesn't affect you to that extent. And do your best to stay off of social media as much as you can. Now that we hearken
don't
back,
contribute to OnlyFans.
And that is a great point. Do not contribute to the slow degradation of females through OnlyFans. That's my point, but that's that. Cheers, Kurt.
Cheers, Travis. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Tuning in.
We know we kind of went off on a little thing,
but I think it worked out.
Yeah, it was
well,
fun. We wanted to have a little fun. That's why
let us know what you think.
That's why we busted the tequila out. Oh yeah, Culture Cocktail Hour. That's the name.
That's the name. I think it fits us very well.
Yeah.
We got some cocktails. We talk culture. Happens in roughly an hour. So
yeah.
I think it's solid, and I think it's what we're gonna run with.
Going forward, we'll try and have would like to have a logo and all that stuff, and we'll try and get all that hashed out. But it takes time. But yeah, Travis, here's to many more episodes.
There's many more episodes in the advancement of the Culture Cocktail
Cheers!
Hour.
Thanks for listening, everybody.